It is all kicking off between Mumsnet and Ocado today because now, after the Supreme Court ruling about women being biological women, the founder of Mumsnet, Justine Roberts, has opened up about how Ocado blacklisted the site as a place to advertise because of the supposedly hateful political views on there, i.e., people saying that women are women and that women's spaces should be protected so that women can feel safe. Apparently, that is a hateful political view and gives Ocado reason not to want to advertise there. Ocado have responded to the chaos that is ensuing on Twitter. We will get to their response in this video and see the statement that Justine Roberts, the founder, put up on Mumsnet about this, completely laying out exactly what happened between her and Ocado. So this tweet today caught my eye. Sonia says, how grim to read about this misogyny from Ocado, who it seems can't tolerate a position on women's rights that reflects the Supreme Court's view. I've never shopped with them and certainly don't intend to start now. After reading this from the Mumsnet founder, that is Justine Roberts. Let's take a look at her. That is the founder, and this is the post that she put up on Mumsnet explaining what happened between Ocado and Mumsnet. Let's get into it. So she said, thanks all. I really appreciate the appreciation. It's been severely testing at times. There were moments where I genuinely thought we might never see the tide turn, or at least not in our generation. And in the meantime, Mumsnet risked being permanently labelled as bigoted, vicious, and on the wrong side of history. Shocking stuff. A fair number of organisations pulled their advertising under pressure from activists, both internal and external. I'm sure there were many more we never heard from who simply steered clear. Commercial partnerships became noticeably harder to secure. The low point was discovering we'd been blacklisted on instruction from the top brass at Barclays Bank, just weeks before their CEO resigned over concealing ties with to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, the plot thickens. When we included a call to clarify the definition of sex in the Equality Act in our 2024 Mumsnet manifesto, Ocado, who had been excited about a partnership, abruptly pulled out. I wonder why they decided to pull out. Well, they said why. They said it's because of Mumsnet's hateful political views. I'm sorry, but can we just take a moment to recognise how genuinely insane that is? Asking for a clarification, just asking for a clarification of what the word woman means in the Equality Act, that makes you hateful? It's genuinely beyond belief. I mean, some of these, trans rights activists are so insane that you give the mildest point of view, you ask the mildest question like, hey, maybe we should just be a little bit clearer about what a woman is in the Equality Act, because a lot of institutions, sporting governing bodies and whatnot don't really know what to do about it when it comes to changing rooms, toilets, who can participate in men's categories in sport and whatnot. This maybe needs a bit of clarification. Apparently, asking those questions makes you some kind of radical, hateful human being. It's just beyond belief that they would boycott. Well, no, sorry, people are boycotting Ocado now as a consequence of this, but Ocado would blacklist Mumsnet as a place to advertise. The post goes on to say, despite repeated attempts to explain our position as a platform committed to amplifying women's voices, they refuse to speak to us ever since. Unbelievable. Nonetheless, even in the darkest moments when I feared the site might not survive, we never considered banning discussion of the issue altogether. That would have been completely contrary to what Mumsnet is about, a space for mothers to talk about what matters to them. And I think especially if you are a mother of a young girl and you are concerned about your young girl having to get changed or go to the bathroom by herself, you're not always with your daughter all the time. Let's say you drop your daughter off at swimming practice, you're not going in, and you're not going in the changing rooms and the toilets with her. You might be concerned as a mother about who your daughter is going to be changing around, right? If I was a mother and I had a little girl, I wouldn't really want her getting changed without me, where there's like a guy with men's parts with big strong arms in that changing room with her, okay? Like, these are valid questions for mums to be talking about on this platform. It's just unbelievable the way that Ocado has sided against women and mothers in this way. Anyway, the post goes on to say, we've always believed in the power of respectful, open discussion, especially on difficult topics. And again, users have told us that Mumsnet has helped them change their minds or at least understood a different point of view. That spirit is what inspired our This Is My Child campaign back in 2013, prompted by a thread where a mother described her own child's disruptive behaviour and then explained he had additional needs and what it was like to parent under constant public judgment. The discussion that followed was one of the most powerful we've ever hosted, and helped many people see things differently. On the issue of women's rights, I know some felt we policed conversations too tightly at times, but please remember the pressure we were under. A single sentence taken out of context and amplified by activists on social media could result in advertisers, already jittery, particularly during COVID, disappearing overnight, and without the advertising we simply cannot cover our running costs and the site would have folded. We were also aware that some activists posing as users were deliberately trying to bait others into saying something that could be used to damage us. It's just, some people have got way too much time on their hands. If you have got the time to make a fake account on Mumsnet and sit there trying to bait people into saying offensive things, I'm sorry, but get a life. Like, these people are so pathetic. So a big well done to everyone on here who played a part in securing what I think most would agree is much needed clarity in the Equality Act. As ever, we're in awe of the intelligence, tenacity and resilience of Mumsnet users. So pretty shocking what has been said there about Mumsnet's experience with Ocado as an advertiser. And as is clearly said there, you cannot survive as a platform. It could have been shut down as a consequence of advertisers boycotting it. But anyway, Ocado has actually apologised now after this got posted on Twitter and went viral. They say these comments are not representative of us as a company and we believe they were made by a temporary contractor who's no longer with the business. We apologise unreservedly to Mumsnet. And I think that's quite a big moment because I feel like that is one of the first apologies that we have had come out as a consequence of the Supreme Court ruling. Okay, there are a heck of a lot more apologies to be made if they ever are made. Like, I think there are a heck of a lot of people who owe J.K. Rowling an apology and all the other people who have been activists standing up for women's rights and women's safety who have just been treated in the most, disgusting ways, spoken to in the most disgusting ways online, sent death threats, and called transphobic over and over again, and all the rest of it. So this is a big moment, I think, for them to officially, on their official Twitter account, to actually put their hands up and say, we apologise unreservedly. I say put their hands up. They are sort of trying to get themselves a little bit out of trouble here by claiming that the decision or the comments were made by a temporary contractor. But I feel like a decision for Ocado to either advertise or not advertise on Mumsnet, I feel like that decision probably would have been made by someone quite senior, not just some temporary contractor. So the excuse sounds a bit fishy, but I feel like this is a step in the right direction. We are seeing an apology happen. We are seeing the tide finally turn, and organisations and people everywhere starting to realise, actually, you know what? Maybe it is common sense to not let blokes in the women's changing room. I've always thought it's common sense, but there are a lot of people that, have said that's transphobic, that's hateful, and it's just been so difficult to have a discussion about it. Just civil discussion, as clearly was the case on Mumsnet. But anyway, that is the latest on the row between Ocado and Mumsnet. Thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe to Reasoned if you've not already.